Welcome to the podcast with wings, the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Strap yourselves in while host David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams take you on a flight around the country, sourcing winners and the latest news on the big two meetings in WA as well as the Meadows and Wentworth Park. The boys will be joined by East Coast experts Jaycin Campbell and Corey Smith. We'll pass on mail from some of WA's top kennels and get to know our industry members. You're at the pointy end of the plane for this week's edition of the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set.
Hello and welcome along to the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set, another edition for a big weekend upcoming. David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams with you. Hello, Train.
Hey, Shorty, how are you today? Yeah, ready to get stuck into this weekend's racing and chasing, Shorty. A very good weekend ahead.
Absolutely. Big night for you last night there at Northam, Shayne.
Got a little bit lucky last night. Shorty won a couple of races. The two brothers done really well. Good to see Iconic Jet bounce back, and his little brother, well, not so little, but big brother, Ripper Moses, was good enough to offset box 8, which was really pleasing, Shorty. I enjoyed their cheeseburgers last night, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure they did. And just quickly on to the star of the kennel at the moment, Iconic Jet. We just put it down to a bad run the week before, just an off night. I mean, the dog prior had been electric. It was back to his brilliant best last night, running hot time again. I spoke to you through the week and said they're not robots. It might have just been one of those nights where Iconic Jet just wasn't feeling right and they got smothered over and closed over, and an unusual situation for the dog to find in itself. Prior to that, it had just been rolling to the top and running time, so it was probably all a bit of a shock to have dogs around it.
Yeah, I'm probably the harshest critics on my dog, Shorty, so I was really disappointed last week. Although he didn't get the best of luck, I still didn't think he went as good as he could go back in the pack. But yeah, like you said, it's a learning curve for him, so hopefully moving forward now he can learn from that. And we're probably going to look in to get to Adelaide for the Derby in the next couple of weeks, so that'll be exciting. And like I said to you before, just a trip away for him, it might be the making of him, just to mature him up a little bit.
Indeed. Well, looking forward to seeing the further progression of that particular dog as well as the rest of the litter. What's caught your eye in the last 7 days since we last caught up, Train?
Well, I've really enjoyed watching the Olympics, Shorty. I was in Darwin, staying up most nights watching the Olympics, and it's all over for another 4 years, Shorty. Australia, 18 gold medals, outstanding. I thought New Zealand done really well for a small nation with 10. And Ireland, Shorty, they even picked up a couple of gold medals. I've seen something through the week. We are a small nation but a mighty nation, Old Ireland. So it's good to see them with a couple.
Well, they are a breed that's a very hardy breed that are very, very tough people, and they certainly do punch above their weight when it comes to their population, so well done to them. And I think we probably fit a similar category, to be honest. It was an amazing Olympics for Australia, one of the most successful ever, and we touched on it last week, but just the pride that comes out of you as an Australian, seeing all of our athletes flying the flag for us, and it was special. And Lauren Jackson, of course, was a girl you were going to touch on, Train. She was my girl to watch in the build-up to the tournament. She didn't get a lot of court time, but just her being there at her 5th Olympics, and the Opals were off to a horrible start, but gee, they were excellent in that final against Belgium the other night. And the other girl of note was Kayla George, another veteran on the team. She played so many important minutes throughout the course of the tournament, and I just love the way that they turned their tournament around, because after getting beaten by Nigeria in the first match, and just to give you a rundown, there was no head-to-head betting on the game. The only betting was line betting, and it was set at 28.5 points. So we're expected to win that game on even peg by 29 points. Nigeria beat us. To straighten yourselves up and get back into a bronze medal performance from there was a stunning performance from Sandy Brondello, their coach, and all of the team.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Shorty. Went really well, and sad to see Lauren, your big bird, off to find new pastures, but she's been an outstanding athlete for Australia.
Well, we got a second lick of the ice cream with Lauren Jackson. She was a superstar of the game, and then left with chronic knee injuries. Looked like she would effectively retire and be finished, but she managed to find a way to work herself back into good condition, played a bit of social stuff to start with, worked her way back in, enjoyed it, and has come back and had a real impact on Australian basketball. She's, in my opinion, are the great men and women combined, greatest of all time. What she's achieved in the sport is unprecedented across male and female. I'll always have respect for Paddy Mills and Andrew Gaze, what they've done, but Lauren Jackson was the best in the WNBA. Like, those guys have been good players in the NBA, but she was the best in that league. We've never had another athlete do anything like what she has done. Well done to you, Lauren Jackson. And the other thing that's caught my eye just quickly last night was the trial of Miss Envy, 30 and 24, if you do not mind, punters, absolutely humming along on a night where it was a wet track there too at Angle Park. That augurs very well for her prospects heading towards the National Sprint Championship, Train.
Yeah, I don't think there's many that have gone quicker. I know where she's fast might hold the record there, 29.90, is it, Shorty? I'm not sure around about that mark. But yeah, first look, probably just jumped off the plane and trialled straight away. You'd think there's going to be plenty of improvement. And moving forward, Shorty, I think she's going to stay over there for the Oaks after that. So good luck beating her in that.
Absolutely, yes. She'll take some stopping in that sort of form. But go the Sandgropers. We'll touch on that at length next week. That'll be Saturday night, the Nationals night there at Angle Park. So we'll have a locked-in look at that program right here on the Jet Set next week. Righto, Train, time to roll up the sleeves and find some winners for our listeners for tonight's program at Mandurah. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off race 3, number 4, Firefly Lane, Shorty. You know what they say, Shorty? Blowers are goers. This dog is $3.20 out to $7. So I'm pretty sure there's been a bit of support for a few other runners, but I'm pretty keen on this dog. She's a member of a quality litter, dropping out of City Novice Company back to Provincial Company for this, Shorty, and I just get the vacant box on the inside, and I just think the dropping class is going to really benefit her going in this race. So race 3, number 4, Firefly Lane will kick us off tonight, and then we'll go over to race 6, number 8, Apache Havoc, Shorty. A very hard race, but I just thought 3 back, he went 16.77 over the 300, sizzled around, and his last 2 starts he's bumped into a smart one, led up and got run down on each occasion. I just thought off the 8 box where he's got a good record, 1 from 1, can get over, Shorty, and we just need him to give a bit of a kick in the home straight, and I think he'll be hard to beat at a bit of odds. Race 6, number 8, Apache Havoc, and then one we went with last week, Shorty, race 8, number 7, Go Seek Ariana. She was really brave, only to be run down by the dog U-tip, Balmerino, who's got that 600-metre form under his belt. I thought she was really brave. She stuck on well, and she's got the same box tonight, meets similar lineup without Balmerino, and I just thought if she could get the front, she might be hard to beat tonight. She's around $5 as well, Shorty. So 3 plays for me tonight. We're going to kick it off race 3, number 4, Firefly Lane. Race 6, number 8, Apache Havoc, and race 8, number 7, Go Seek Ariana.
Nice. They all look to be in with good claims at good prices. Firefly Lane looks really well placed. I'm with you. I tipped it on top this morning on Chasing Winners, and around $7. It's got to be a bet, I would have thought.
You heard of that saying? Blowers are goers?
No, I haven't heard that
now.
before. No, but I have now. Let's have a look tonight. Ryan Levitsky, race 5, number 2, Starlight Ariel. It'll get back and charge home late. Race 10, number 5, ZZ Dawn. So 5, 2, 10, 5. Jesse's gone with race 4, number 5, Simple Sally. Race 6, number 3, Sassy Snickers. For me tonight, I'm going to start with race 2, number 1, Rock Solid Kid. Graham's got an excellent record off the draw. 4 starts for 3 wins and a placing. Gets a really good opportunity here to punch up hard on the fence and be very hard to run down. I thought it looked well placed, well boxed, right sort of grade, and I like it. Race 2, number 1, Rock Solid Kid. On to race 4, number 5, Simple Sally. This is one of yours, Shayne. Win 2 back was excellent, and I thought, if anything, the run in defeat last week was probably even better. There looks to be a bit of improvement. Just needs to get the start right tonight. This doesn't look a super strong lineup, and if Simple Sally can just get the start right, I thought she'd take some running down here.
Yeah, I totally agree. That the main thing her is with the starter, she does like to head to the fence. So we need her to get the start right so she can have that room to get over, find the fence. And she's improved a hell of a lot, Shorty, since she kicked off. She was mainly going around in country races, but she's handling the step up to provincial class really well. So big night. Grant Alano got a big day tomorrow with 12 in, and they've got the awards tomorrow night. So hopefully can kick them off a winner, Shorty, tonight.
Absolutely. And then I'm heading to race 9, number 2, Examiner for Cody Charles. This dog's won its last 2 at Northam in really impressive fashion. Drops back from the 509 to the 400 here, but it's got enough pace to land in a really good spot early. thought from there it'd be pretty hard to run down, given that it's been running over the 509. The one clear danger for me is number 7, Loki Hook. When this dog turns up, it can really put time on the board. It's off a freshen up, and in that capacity, if it happened to step, it'd be the real threat. So I've gone 2 and 7 Quinella, but I'll stick with Examiner to bring that northern form to Mandurah. And I often like those dogs just doing something a little bit different. It spikes up their interest and gets them sharpened up off those wins at Northern. The switch back to Mandurah here should be ideal. So for me tonight, race 2, number 1, Rock Solid Kid. Race 4, number 5, Simple Sally. Race 9, number 2, Examiner. I've got a quaddie on the program tonight. First 2 legs are wide open. First leg, numbers 2, 3, 4, 7 and 8. Second leg, we're taking the field. In the third leg, just 3 and 6, Sunset Hornet and Sunset Frazier. And in the final leg, just 4 and 7, Sunset Pacquiao and Go Seek Ariana. So 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Field, 3, 6, 4, 7. 160 for a full unit. $16 will get you 10% if you're looking to get involved with that quaddie play there for tonight. Have you got anything else to add to that program? I think you've got a roughie that's in this program this evening, haven't you, Train?
I've got a roughie and a rover tonight for Mandurah Shorty. My roughie is going to be race 11, number 4, Emi Nakayama. We heard a good trial last week from Graham. Couldn't obviously get off the 8 last week. So we'll back up again tonight. I think I've seen $11 or $12 there tonight, Shorty. So Emi Nakayama, my roughie. And my rover tonight, I got one tonight and tomorrow. We'll save tomorrow night's for later in the show. But tonight's rover is race 2, number 5, Pumping Gas. Just looks like it can hit the frame. Shorty will get back and run on, and what's a wide open affair. If it can hit the frame, we might get something juicy.
Yeah, indeed. I've got my roughie for the Saturday night program, but I have got a rover on the Friday night card, and it's in the first, Negroni. It's also a leg of, if you like, places throwing in sort of $1.60, $1.70 the place into your legs. Negroni's been push button of late. That's not a strong lineup. I think Negroni hits the frame again there. So happy enough to rove race 1, number 3, Negroni, and if there's a bit of value around it, and we may well find ourselves on the end of a nice result with our roves through the trifectas and first fours. Race 1, number 3, Negroni, the roving play there. Let's switch our focus to Mandurah Saturday night. Another excellent card for the punters to get involved with. 3 heats of the Peter Thomas for WA bred chasers here over the 488 metres. All 3 of these heats chock full of quality. What it really underlines is the quality of WA bred chaser and the level that it's got to now. There's no fewer than about 20 dogs through these 3 heats that you'd love to own that are going to win an absolute pile of races.
Well, a couple of things, Shorty. I was actually going to nominate Stevie Manelli for this race. I'm glad I did, and I elected to go up to the 652 with her. She wouldn't have got sighted in some of these races, so I'm glad I'd done that. And just touching on Peter Thomas, unfortunately, Shorty, I arrived in WA after the great man passed on, and I've never heard one person in the industry say a bad word about him. It's all been positive stuff, so I'm really happy that we pay this race to his memories.
Big time, and it's a race that means a lot to our industry. I was fortunate enough when I started working at Greyhounds WA. Pete was a very much pivotal part of our industry as the vet at all venues. He was a much loved man within our industry, not just for the love and care that he showed the greyhounds, but the participants as well. He was a real knockabout sort of fella, enjoyed his sport, loved the greyhounds, and had time for everyone. He was just a lovely human being, and we really do pay tribute to Pete, and it is absolutely magnificent that they have this race in his honour each and every year. And as I said, it's a race that so many of the industry really aim up at and try to win in memory of the great man. So great memories of Peter Thomas in years gone by. Let's get your thoughts for the big Saturday night program. Shayne, we've got 12 very, very even contests, it must be said, throughout the course of the night.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off early, Shorty. It's another Robertson runner, and I think I've seen $11 today. So, again, this is a very good each-way play. Race 2, number 3, Black Ness. Just a brilliant beginner. Will find herself in front more than likely. She does struggle at the back end of her races, Shorty, but, you know, the best place to be in a 488 is out in front. Sometimes they can be a bit of a scrimmage behind and you can get left in front. So if she can find the front, I'm tipping that she'll be running top 3 because, like I said, she does struggle at the back end of her races, but I just think finding the front in races like this is the best place to be. So race 2, number 3, Black Ness will kick us off. Then I'm going to go over to race 5, number 6 in one of these heats, Shorty. Sunset Comanche, the big boy, 36 kilos, been mixing distances from 652 back to 488, but he's a very powerful chaser, this dog. He gets to the outside, he just lets rip. And when he does, he comes with a withering run, Shorty. So there is a lot of early speed in this race, so it could potentially get messy up in front. Well, this big fella will be out smoking his pipe late and try and ambush him late, Shorty. Race 5, number 6, Sunset Comanche. And then we'll go over to race 8, number 2, dog that's really found his form the last 2 starts, Shorty, and probably the reason is because it's drawn box 1 and 2. His box draws before that were very ugly box draws, so he's really cashed in on these 2 good draws. Again, he draws box 2. Main dangers out in 6, 7 and 8. I think they could all mix up, the tangle up with each other, and this dog could get left a long way in front. Race 8, number 2, our boy Doug, to bring us home a winner, Shorty.
I like it, yeah. He's one of mine as well on Saturday night there. Our boy Doug, his recent form's been good. He's been racing against our top line sprint dogs for a period of time now and likes an inside box, gets a good look at them there on Saturday. So 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 2 for the train. Ryan Levitsky's best plays, race 3, number 2, Zipping Lewick. Gee, this dog caught the eye last week. It was an excellent performance, charging home late. You get the impression that the dogs will definitely get a trip in the months to come. For now, though, gets back. It just needs that bit of luck. If it happens to get that, then it can show up at a big price. Race 4, number 1, Shy Emoji. Got a good record, Mandra Track and Trip. And race 5, number 5, Sunset Serengeti. So Ryan going 3-2, Zipping Lewick each way. 4-1, Shy Emoji. 5-5, Sunset Serengeti. Jesse Earnshaw, race 2, number 3, Black Ness. Race 3, number 8, Ironworks. And race 5, number 5, Sunset Serengeti. So 2-3, 3-8, 5-5. For yours truly, I am kicking things off. Race 3, number 8, Ironworks. This dog looks to have well above average ability. Won its maiden in 27 and 38. And listening to an interview with Paul Stewart on the Sports Daily yesterday, he was really keen on the switch out to box 8 for this dog, giving it room to zoom. It's not brilliant early, but he said it should be able to whip round the outside mid-race and put itself into the contest. He generally is very conservative when he talks about his dog. So I liked the tone of his voice and what he had to say about Ironworks. This is the dog that I think we can follow through the grades. Race 3, number 8, Ironworks. And we'll round it out. Second leg will be another Paul Stewart runner. Race 7, number 6, Mortality. This dog's been airborne since arriving here in WA.
It's possessed, isn't it?
It is. And to the eye, like the point that I've raised to a couple of people, Shayne, and you'd know it as a trainer, sometimes, the clock hasn't let the dog down by any means. It's gone as quick as 27.09, but just the way it clicks through its gears, it goes from being in an awkward position in running to all of a sudden just about ready to win really quickly.
Yeah, it's had a couple of weeks off too, so fresh, you never know. It might even step a bit better.
Yeah, I like the dog a lot. And the third leg is race 8, number 2, Our Boy Doug. Number 7, Solid Tank, I've taken in the Quinella with it. 8, Light Manelli, the 7 and 8 here. The dogs that are going to be out wide looking to work into it, but I think Our Boy Doug will be off and gone by the time they get there. So for me, race 3, number 8, race 7, number 6, and race 8, number 2, my 3 key plays on Saturday night. My roughie for this program is the dog that Train touched on earlier, race 2, number 3, Black Ness, currently around that $11 mark. I think that's a great price about a dog that is going to put itself up on top of the speed, and happy to be with it each way as my roughie of the weekend. Anything for you, Train?
Yeah, my Rover is actually the one Ryan come up with, race 3, number 2, Zipping Lewick. It does get back and it has got a big finishing burst. So race 3, number 2, Zipping Lewick, my Rover for Saturday.
All right, 3-2, Zipping Lewick is the roving banker play for the train there on Saturday night. Now for quaddie play for the program. This is your wheelhouse, Train?
Yep. First leg, 1, 6, 7, 8. Second leg, I've gone wide, Shorty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Third leg, 2, 3, 6. And the last leg, 2 and 7, if my maths is good, which is pretty good, Shorty, because I was calculating tote dividends from a young age. It should be 144.
That's what I had. Yeah. Beautiful. 144 as the total for that quaddie there on Saturday night for the Shayne Train Williams. 1, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 6, 2, 7. It's Mandurah Friday and Saturday taken care of. We'll come back for our very best on those programs a little bit later on. Time now, punters, for a time to get on the plane and get across to the other side of the country. And we are going to catch up with our man Jaycin Campbell to have a look at Wentworth Park for Saturday night chasing. And this is quite a good program on Saturday night across there at Wenny. The $1 Million Chase is just around the corner now. We've got some tremendous chasing in prospect just around the corner. And, of course, this is the series train that they take all over regional New South Wales. Some of Australia's best sprinters go all over the place and take it to the different country tracks. And I love that element to this series.
Yeah, 100%, Shorty. I think the heats are kicking off at Maitland. And I've seen some names there. Rince-to-Lot and McKenna are trying to qualify early and get locked in for a slot in that $1 Million Chase. But like you said, they do go to Broken Hill and Temora and country tracks like that. So that's a good opportunity for them people out there to see the real good dogs race, Shorty.
Yes, most definitely is. And I think it's great to get a crowd to the track and also give a bit of profile to those sort of outer venues.
100%. Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's a good concept, the $1 Million Chase. And it's worth a lot of money, so they don't make it easier for you to win it, Shorty.
No, they do not, and nor should it be easy to win when you're talking about the sort of chaff that's up for grabs, a million clams. Worth battling it out for, that is for sure and certain. We'll be catching up with Jaycin Campbell in just a few moments' time, and we'll get his thoughts on another really busy Saturday program.
It's a busy weekend of chasing in New South Wales. Joining the boys to help find you the winners, it's the one and only Jaycin Campbell.
Big program at Wentworth Park on Saturday night. $1 Million Chase just around the corner. The man that'll be finding us all of the winners, Jaycin Campbell, fresh off some hot work there yesterday on Great Grace, joins us on the Jet Set for this weekend. Hello, JC.
Hey, Shorty. Hey, Shayne.
Hey,
how you going? Shayne Train. What am I saying? Train.
Shayne Train. Hello, mate. How are you? Where will we find dining over the weekend, this weekend, after that big fill-up last night?
Yeah, Penrith.
Helicopter
up there tonight, Train. Back to your old stomping ground, Mount Druitt. Very rough joint, Mount Druitt. I better be taking a pocket knife and leave the wallet at home. So, yeah, we'll go up there. There's a place called Flappy's, similar setup to Raising Cane's over in America. So apparently best fried chicken in New South Wales. I was going to say Sydney, but it's a long way away. So we'll go up I think it's the M1 or something. So that's about a 1 hour drive. So looking forward to that. And food tomorrow with some heavy hitters. Tipped them a few winners last night at Hobart and Albion Park. So I won't be bringing my wallet for that either. And NRL on Sunday. God's Country, Shark Park, 4 o'clock. I don't know who they're versing, but I've managed to get myself a free ticket there too. So absolute fill-ups all round.
Excellent. Sounds like a busy weekend. You've always got something on the burner, which is great to see, JC. And no doubt you've had a good look at this card. It's a good program, probably one of the better depth-wise that we've seen at Wentworth Park in recent times. And no surprise with the $1 Million Chase just around the corner, some real top-liners back in work.
Yeah, well, they've got 12 races, which is a first for our little Jet Set scheme because I've only been diving into 10 races. So that's good. It's given me a few more options and a few familiar names will pop up in my tip sheet once again this week.
All righty. Well, let's get things started. Your better plays for Saturday night?
Yeah, heading to race 4, the Masters race. Going to stick with an old girlfriend of mine, Rebel Ethics, in box 1. Happy to be very forgiving of his last 2 starts. He's just drawn outside boxes and been unable to cross the pack. He does have to overturn a 7.5 length margin to Fascinate Trump just 7 days ago, but he yielded a lot of ground there, had no luck, as I mentioned. He's drawn superbly here in box 1. 2 noted wide runners outside him. I think he can beat them out, park right behind the likes of Fascinate Trump and Coco Model and prove 2 strong late in the piece.
Indeed, and last time we saw this dog draw the red at Wenny Park back on July 20, in this company was a 29-66 winner. That is more than good enough to be winning a race of this nature, it must be said.
That would be good enough to win the $1 Million Chase, Shorty. So, yeah, we'll take that.
Indeed. Let's see it get the cash for 1 Rebel Ethics. On to the second of your plays.
Yeah, race 6, number 8, Exploded. Don't have to be a genius to find this dog and not really sure what price he'll open up. Probably should be $1.10 to be honest, but maybe one for Maltese. Won the recent Group 1 race at Albion Park, the Queensland Cup with Tony Brett just 6 weeks ago. Has since finished down the track in the Fireball behind Ella's Babe and Drill Sargent. Recently switched kennels to the Jason McKay kennel. He had his first runner last night recycled, and not too bad. After 2 years, gets his first winner back. He's not going too bad, Jason McKay. First couple of runners back in 2 years, and he's picked up arguably the stay with the most upside in Australia. As mentioned, I think he'd be very, very short here, but definitely one for Maltese.
Indeed. So sticking with just the two there?
Yes, we've got the very best. We always hold the very best. Keep the powder dry, as you mentioned.
Yeah, keep that up your sleeve. What about a roughie on the card?
Hopefully this dog will be a bit rough, but I just think the market might potentially miss him. Race 9, number 7, still available. Jumping on your bandwagon here, Shorty. I want to be very forgiving of his run last week. I thought it had great merit in it. He just was a touch flat early, and I want to put that down to the 2-day backup off that Richmond Straight run. I copped a lot of Miami heat early in the piece, but he chased his backside off, managed to finish second. Presents here off a week, which I think is a lot more suitable, should be a lot fresher at box rise. And there's just not a great deal of speed drawn around him. Just hopeful that the bookmakers gravitate towards the Darryl Thomas and the Tina Howard runners drawn boxes 1 and 2. They both bring really strong SP profiles to this race, and they've run some really sharp times at other tracks and trips. So hopefully we can get him as third elect in betting. I've marked him favourite. Fair
enough. We've got a rover for the punters. Are we going back to our old favourite from last week? I sense that there might be a little
we are, Shorty.
Deja vu.
I was on strict time today, so I just thought, why don't we don't fix it if it ain't broke. Race 10, number 8, Crowded House. Great band. Have been listening to them a little bit more since this dog's appeared on the Jet Set. Could not think of a song off the top of my head that they sing, but we'll be playing that up the way to Penrith tonight. No reason that he can't run another place here. He's run placings in all 4 of his starts from box 8. There's just not a great deal of speed underneath him, with Shanghai Girl coming off a preparation over the middle distance and staying trip. So I think Crowded House can make it 3 from 3 for the roving banker plays.
Love it. Now, I'll just chime in with my few plays for the card. I also had 6-8 Exploded on top. Jaycin McKay, just an incredible trainer. Straight back in the winners list last night. This dog is a real excitement machine. Looking forward to seeing it. I thought 7 and 8 looked the logical in that race. In race 8, a dog that really has taken my interest, and mainly because it was actually bred here in WA. It's a West on Augie Kiss Me Linda pup. And most of these dogs sort of were around the 400-metre mark, but this dog went to Wentworth Park and won in 29.65 off an inside draw. It's run some really hot races of late. It's got very good early pace. It's room to muster out wide on the track. I thought it could run well. That is from the East, race 8, number 8. And the 2 rovers were on the same page with the Finn Brothers and Crowded House, race 10, number 8. And the other rover that I'm keen to team up with is race 11, number 3, Zipping Hermione. Zipping Hermione's had the 16 starts, 2 wins and a further 9 placings, placed at both starts here at Wentworth Park. She's been placed at last 5 in a line from that inside draw. She'll be hitting the frame again there on Saturday night. So 6-8, 8-8, and then the roves for 10-8 Crowded House and 11-3 Zipping Hermione for me on Saturday night. What about your quaddie play there on Saturday night, JC?
Leg 1, 5 and 6. Leg 2, just going the 8. Should be very short, should be very hard to beat. Leg 3, 2 and 7. And leg 4, just the 8. So that might give it away, Shorty. Might be teaming up for the very best.
Hey, hello. All right. So it's the WA bred chaser that you've landed on for your very best of the weekend for Hayley Moffat.
She's caught my eye from the east. I've been absolutely waiting for her to draw box 8 at this start at Wentworth Park, and she gets it here. I think all stars align for from the east. I don't really need to go into too much detail here, Shorty. You already done it for me. So I think she'll be very hard to beat. She's desperate for box 8. She's got pink toes painted on her. And, yeah, just an absolute bandit looking for it. I think she'll slingshot across, lead, and put a big break and then down the back and hold on for a nice win.
Indeed. We'll be getting around from the east off the Ferry Floss draw there, and you're right. We do love it when they draw off, and that's where they want to be. Use that early to mid acceleration, get around them and put a bit of time on the board. Train?
Yeah, well, stay safe tonight in Penrith, JC, and all the very best. Now, listen, when the Everest is up and about, me and the great man next to me, we haven't locked it in yet, but we could possibly be coming over, so make sure you take us to one of them fine dining restaurants. And bring the wallet.
We'll be cashed up after from the east win, so I'll put some in the kitty and we'll we'll catch up in, I think, is that October or September?
It is October.
Sure, anyway, it's coming up, not too far away.
Mid-October. I think the actual, the Friday night, there is the running of
MDC.
the $1 Million Chase at Wentworth Park, and then Saturday's the Everest.
That's right. I did that last year. I was too drunk to remember it. But, yeah, it was great. It was a great weekend.
We might have to catch up on Thursday so that we can remember catching up with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be right.
100%.
I don't drink, so I'll be right.
Set it up.
Not anymore. No, Train doesn't drink anymore. He doesn't drink any less either, but he doesn't drink anymore. Good work, JC. Tremendous catching up with you. Thanks for your time here on the Jet Set, mate. Have a ripper weekend. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Stay safe
Take care.
in Penrith. See you, mate.
Another massive evening of metropolitan chasing lies ahead at the Meadows on Saturday night. To dissect the card, here's the man with the Melbourne Mail, Corey Smith.
Let's head across to Victoria now. Our man Corey Smith has had a good look at the big program at the Meadows on Saturday night. 12 races up for debate. Let's find out how it's going in his backyard. Hello, Corey.
G'day, fellas. Love being with you each and every Friday, and this week's no exception.
What's been happening the last 7 days in Victorian chasing? We had that big night last week. I spoke to Neil Brown yesterday on Great Greys. It was tremendous to see Hector Foley crowned the Greyhound of the Year in Victoria, and he also managed to win on that same program there. Just wonderful to see a greyhound that's been taking its show all over Australia, racing over a variety of distances and delivering. It was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, it certainly was. The variety of distances was the key. It was named Greyhound of the Year, but didn't manage to get either the sprinter or the stayer gong. So the 570 metres is the borderline. That the under is a sprinter, over is a stayer here in Victoria, and his body of work in both was good enough for him to be a finalist in the sprinter, finalist in the stayer. But when you combined it for the Greyhound of the Year, he managed to take the overall gong, and as you said, he won on the night too, which was a nice little wrap, a nice little bow put on a really impressive body of work that he's had for such a long period of time now.
Hey, Corey, thanks for joining us again today, mate. Obviously, the Nationals coming up. We've heard you've got a Guernsey over there. Do you give, I know the box draw's been done today, but do you give the Mexicans any hope in the finals?
I do, particularly in the stayers. Aunt Virginia, I've got a massive rap for her. I know it's going to be a really strong staying field with quality coming from all over Australia, descending on Angle Park, but I really do think she's a really impressive greyhound with such a high ceiling. We kind of got used to her probably going to the front or being in the first couple and getting the job done, but in that state qualifier, she managed to do it from off the speed, which I think was really impressive. So I think look out for her at Angle Park, and Andrew Paraskevas and John Paraskevas, they've travelled dogs over to Adelaide and won feature events there prior, so they know what they need to do, and I reckon they're going to be a massive chance. And Smooth Plane, he's probably the most underrated dog in Australia, I reckon.
Yeah,
he just pops up week in, week out and just struts his stuff with little to no fanfare. And Team Daly, well, we know how good they are when they get to the big races.
Would they want to draw near the rails, them two? Would they be best off drawing near the rails?
I think it's probably with both of them. It probably depends on who's around them more so than where they are in the races. I think obviously box one is always the box that you want to come up with, but with a few other greyhounds in the race that obviously have a fair bit of talent and a fair bit of early pace and the likes, I think it'll more depend on this box draw that's not too far away and where they draw in relation to the other greyhounds.
Absolutely. Miss Envy, really hot trial there last night, 30 and 24, but I saw $10 there. Smooth Plane, and thought that was a nice price. I've had a little something early doors. I just think double figure odds about a dog that's just so consistent and reliable was potentially a little bit of overs, particularly if the dog does draw decent a little bit later on there today. All right, let's roll up the sleeves, Corey, and see if we can't find a few winners for this 12-race program at the Meadows on Saturday night. Don't mind the program. What have you come up with for us?
Yeah, it's a decent program at the Meadows this Saturday night. I've got 3 best bets, and as always, there's no prices out yet. So some of these might come up a little bit too short. Some of them might come up better than what I suggest, but we'll find out once the markets come out. But the first one, I'm going back to the well with a best bet from a few weeks ago with race 4, number 4, Needful. I think he's going to be pretty short, but somehow, given it's a 6-7 final, I reckon it's an easier race than what he found a couple of weeks ago. Last start, he broke 30 seconds and went 5:09 to the first peg. And I think that early speed and the way that he's improved at his last couple, I think he's going to be incredibly hard to beat. And he looks like he's got a serious future ahead of him, Needful for Anthony Azzopardi.
All right, race 4, number 4, Needful, the first of them. On to the second.
Race 7, number 1, Jamie Bale. This bloke just absolutely loves an inside draw. His last start, he had box number 1, and he got beaten by Alpha Zulu, who we've seen in numerous group finals. But prior to that, he had a string of poor draws. He had 8, 6, 7, and 7, and finally comes back up with the red again. And there's not much speed drawn around him, so I reckon he might be able to punch up and put himself pretty prominently in the forward half of the field, if not vying for the early lead going into that first bend. And if he can sneak up on the rails, then I think he's going to run a massive race. So race 7, number 1, Jamie Bale, the second of my best bets.
Okay, and the third of them?
The third of them, as I'm just walking away from the chefs making a heap of noise, race 8, number 5, Mapunga Surprise. This girl's an absolute group level stayer ridden all over her from pretty much day dot, and I reckon she finds a winnable race here. She can lead, she can come from off them, and I reckon she's the only greyhound that has that really high ceiling where she can probably go that low 42 seconds, and I reckon she's just going to be too good for them. So race 4, number 4, Needful. I think I want about $1.50, so he's nice and short, but hopefully sweet. Race 7, number 1, Jamie Bale. I'm wanting mid $3, and race 8, number 5, Mapunga Surprise. Anything above $2, and I'm chiming in.
All righty. I'll just quickly mention the better plays I had for the card. Kicking off, this dog's airborne. Race 6, number 8, Mapunga Smoky. Now, I know it runs into Transponder and Mapunga Tully, but on recent performances with room to move, it's got to be a super chance again. Enormous respect for the Britain Kennel, and the way this dog's going, confidence is sky high. If it can just land there, it'll be right there in the mix again. Race 6, number 8, Mapunga Smoky. In race 7, I ended up adding something on Beach Burbsky last week. I thought it was a good win, and the dog certainly will have a bit of confidence out of that run, so might be a nice novelty play. Did have some respect for the red in that race, but I'll go with 7-3 Beach Burbsky. And later in the card, looking for a little bit of value for me, teamed up with race 10, number 5, Ren Bale. Draws a little sticky here, but last couple of performances have been pretty solid. And if it can hold Kingsley Bale, or if Kingsley Bale struggles to get over, then it comes into the race at a nice price. So race 10, number 5, Ren Bale, the other of the dogs. I'll be having something on there on an each-way basis on Saturday night, if odds permit. Let's get on to your roughie for the card, please, Corey.
I found it a little bit tough to try and pull together a roughie for this meeting, so I've gone with a bit of a 2-play in a race that you've already mentioned, race that has Mapunga Smoky, race number 6, the free-for-all on the program, which is an absolute ripper. I'm going to play Zipping Minaj, and I'm going to play Ethanol Water. I'm playing Zipping Minaj because make no promises on her inside, coming back from a 700-metre campaign. He likes to get down towards the rails, and Transponder, who you also mentioned, likes to use a little bit of the track. If not, he'll just stay straight, and Zipping Minaj might be able to kind of pinch a little bit of a break, and a few of these might run into a little bit of trouble drawn low. And then I wanted to back one of the wider brigade as well. Mapunga Smoky, I do concede he's absolutely flying, and he's such a superstar of a greyhound. But I think Mapunga Tully might give him a little bit of pressure in the early stages from box number 7. So I just landed with a 6, Ethanol Water, who she's one of the stronger dogs in training that is going to appear over these 500-metre races, and I absolutely love her. So I'd kick myself if I didn't have something small on her as well. So playing both Zipping Minaj and Ethanol Water, the 3 and the 6 in race 6.
Yeah, I thought Water and Volume had just maybe come off a touch at their last couple of runs, but we saw Volume run a really good race last night there at Sandown, and it may be something similar with Ethanol Water. They're not robots, and for a long period of time, these droopy Sydney dogs have been fronting up week in, week out, just smashing the line.
Yeah, they absolutely have. I backed Ethanol Volume last night and didn't get any money out of him, but I think he'll be winning again soon. And I just love him. I think everyone that follows greyhounds and follows the form really does like these Ethanol greyhounds, even though they do get back. But they're super strong, they're super reliable, and when you've got T Daly in the form guide right next to their name, it gives you an extra bit of confidence as well.
Yeah, they're good chasers too, aren't they? That Irish blood, they chase their rings out, don't they?
Yeah, well, you would probably know a little bit more about the Irish blood than I would, Shayne. But I love going into the form guide and seeing daily first starters, and you have absolutely no idea who the sire is. So you go and do a little research on it. Patch Adams and I were talking about it at the Victorian Greyhound Awards. They've obviously taken a few flyers and some greyhounds that most of us here in Australia don't know a huge amount. But, Droopy Sydney as a sire has come over here, and it looks like he's dominating from a fair few litters.
Well, he's the Fernando Bale in Ireland, I can tell you that much. But unfortunately, he's no longer serving. So when he finished racing, he got 3 bitches in 2 years. And them 3 bitches produced some phenomenal, and then everyone went to him, and then, now it's all over. So
A bit like Gunlar Osti back in the day.
It's amazing how often that sort of stuff happens, isn't it? It takes a good to be produced by one, and unfortunately sometimes that occurs when they're already passed. A little bit like my bro Fabio with Welshie's Fast to a lesser extent. If he had thrown Welshie's Fast in his first crop, then he's probably the best stud dog in Australia, but it took him a little while, and he's unfortunately no longer with us as well. So it's always an intriguing conversation.
And Bernardo's another one. I think Bernardo was a bit of a slow starter. Now look at him. He's second or third on the size list. So.
Yeah, Aussie infrared. The list goes on, but sometimes they just need a little bit of a chance taken on them by breeders, and then off they go.
Opportunity is a beautiful thing. Let's see if we can't nail the quaddie there for Saturday night. Corey, how are we playing it?
I'd be surprised if anyone nailed the quaddie last week at the Meadows. There was a bit of a blowout chancing. I think it was the third leg, but we'll have a crack again. $64 for 100%. Yeah, you want to toot your own horn, do you, Train?
No, it wasn't me.
I gave you the opportunity, but...
No, keep going, mate.
All right. The first leg, 1, 2, 5, and 6. Second leg, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Third leg, 1 and 6, and then coming home in the last with 2 and 5. As I said, $64 for 100%.
Beautifully done there. 1, 2, 5, 6, 3, 4, 6, 8, 1, 6, 2, 5. Time now for the blowtorch, the very best on Saturday night at the Meadows.
4 duck eggs last week, Corey. 4 duck eggs.
Yeah. Oh, it was a grim week last week. I was a little bit unlucky. I pulled the wrong rein. I should have got Royal Gypsy, but anyway, that's hindsight. It's a wonderful thing. My very best is going to be Needful, race 4, number 4. Got the job done a few weeks ago and kick-started the account with it, and I think it'll do it again. So just $100 on Needful the win for me this week.
Beautifully done. That sounds outstanding. And Shayne touched on the fact you'll be heading across for the Nationals next weekend. We will chat to you prior to that big night. There'll be lots of trials that have been done and run between now and then. We'll know the box draw. We can have a bit of a look at that national sprint and distance final when we chat next week. Train, what have you got for us?
Now hit up Peter O'Neill when you get there, Corey, and he'll have a bar tab for you that you couldn't drink that many drinks. So go and see Peter O'Neill.
No, it probably only needs to be $50 for me then, Train. But no, I'll certainly have a beer with Peter O'Neill. I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed. We'll appreciate your time as always here on the Jet Set. Corey, thanks so much for your time, and have a ripper weekend.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
It's time to roll out the red carpet and welcome our local industry VIP guest of the week.
Our VIP industry guest for this week is Tim Gummow. He's been having a wonderful time of late at Northern Training, winner after winner, and we're delighted to have him. We're rolling out the red carpet for Tim today. Welcome to you, Tim. How are you?
Good. Hi, Shorty. Hi, Shayne. Hi, listeners. And thanks for having me on Jet Set.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. Tim, Train teed this up, and I said to him, I'm delighted to actually be able to have a chat to Tim. I've been a fan of the way that you train for a pretty significant period of time now. You've always had a nice team and managed to train plenty of winners. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the sport.
Well, how I got involved, my Nana and Grandad had dogs when the track first opened, Ray Jamison. And that was probably a bit young for me to remember. But then my auntie, Joanne Gardner and Daryl Gardner had dogs. So I used to go over there when I was a little kid and run off into the whelping box and play with the puppies. And then they moved to Victoria for a bit. And then they got out of dogs. And then one day Dad was down the pub and he met John Tonkin and said, my son loves the dogs. And it all went from there. Then I started helping him and that. Yeah.
Wow, a great man to learn from as well, it must be said. John Tonkin, of course, had an incredible relationship with the great Paul Wheeler and trained a number of the very, very well-known bail dogs across here in WA for a really significant period of time. Paul Stewart as well learned plenty off John Tonkin on the way through. A fine man in greyhound racing.
Yeah, he was, and he taught Jamie Marsh as well. I come in after Jamie, and he couldn't do enough to help me, and that's when my first dog come for helping him. He gave me a dog named Wild Kelly as a pup, Go Wild Teddy pup, and she won a few, and then I bought Rip It Up off him, and it all went from there.
Was there any crossover there, Tim, when you with John? Was Paul or Jamie there, or you just chimed in after?
Jamie was just starting off on his own when I got there. Jamie'd still pop around and that, and Paul was over with the Wheelers at that stage, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Timmy, you've had a really good season up at Northam. A couple of dogs that you've taken from sort of low grades to get through their grades really well. What do you find the difference between Northam and Mandurah?
Well, I think it's just the feel up there. A lot of them seem to go a bit better up there in the daylight and the night racing and that. And I've always had a bit of luck up there, made a fair few Northern Cups and WA Bred Cups, never been able to win one. But, yeah, you take the dogs up there, trial them, but they just like you summed it up well, Train did with when he said with Magic Entry before. She was a bit of a non-winner, but she's gone up there and she's just chased out of her skin, like running behind the Train's good dog, Iconic Jet, and she's just gone from strength to strength each run, that dog. But, yeah.
Yeah, he was scratched last night. Was nothing major with him?
Nothing major, just knocked her wrist a little bit up, like in the run, and just didn't want to push her. Yeah.
Yep. Tim, you've had some good help along the way. Obviously, your dad gives you a hand, but also the campaigners have really looked after you and helped you and supplied you with some dogs. They're great people for our industry, aren't they?
Oh, very good. They can't do enough to help you. Yeah. Yeah, very good people with some tricks that they've shown me with the dogs and that. And then I was at Cozzie's for a bit before that, but then Joe and Eric have done a lot for me, yeah.
I tell you, you've learned from some excellent people within the industry, and it's the key, and it's a challenge for a lot of people that are new into the sport to find the right people to have as your teachers. And if you get the right people, you can certainly be a sponge, soak it all up, and it's clearly something that you've done on the way through, Tim, because you've had very good success in the sport. How many dogs do you work with? How many in the kennel at the moment?
I'm going to go with 12 maximum. I think I've got about 9 or 10 at the moment. Yeah.
So it's not a massive team, but you do knock out plenty of winners there. And obviously to have dogs in your life, you need plenty of help around you. You've got a family involvement that are helping out as well?
Just me and my dad, yeah.
That must be great. It's great, isn't it? Isn't it tremendous to share a common bond and be able to spend that one-on-one time with your dad and family members? I know I'm the same. I got involved in the sport through my dad owning horses initially and then greyhounds, and then with a couple of his great mates and his son, Dean Starkey, being involved. We would all go together as a family and with our close friends.
He was a lovely man. Even with the first dog I had, bringing his name up, he couldn't give you enough advice or help you if you go there to trial a dog or you do something, and Keith Harding and that.
Just great people.
Couldn't help you enough. If it was a young bloke coming through.
It's so good to hear, and great memories of a fine man within our sport. But he really did. In the annex, he had so many different aspects of the industry that he really was sharp on. And but again, it's that family time. So he was like a big brother to me growing up, and I loved the time that I got to spend with him. And it sounds like similar with yourself and your father. It's something this sport allows us to do: spend that special time with our loved ones.
It does, yeah.
All right, Timmy, before we get into these questions, are you looking for any more dogs? Because I think you're probably one of the most underrated trainers that we've got in this state. So if there's anyone out there looking to send you a dog, are you looking for more dogs to train, or are you full at the moment?
No, I've got a room for one or maybe two, but you got to get a bit picky these days with what you take and that. So, yeah, if someone's got something they want to bring over here for a change or something that's can go a bit, we'll give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Any more questions, Shorty?
No, just, mate, great to have you on the program. Appreciate your time and wishing you continued success. But the hardest part of this conversation is the one you're about to cop. The train's got the blowtorch out and he's ready to go. Mate, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Tim, you walk into the bar, what's your drink order?
I'm not a big drinker, but if I have to have a drink and a social drink with someone, it'll either be Jim Beam or Swan Draft.
Yeah, the first one's the best one. Favourite holiday destination? I've never known you to have many holidays.
No, I've been with the dogs. I might have to come to Darwin one day.
Yeah,
Sounds
get there.
good.
Yeah, Darwin's real good, Timmy, real good. You can be my driver. Question 3, funniest person in our industry?
It's a toss-up between two at the moment. I'd probably have to say Cody Charles or Paul Calsis.
Good options. Best or favourite dog you've trained?
There'd be two with people that I worked with. When I worked for John Tonk, there was a little dog, Shortte, you'll probably remember, good little short course called Total Wreck.
Yes.
He had a big bonky bent banana nose, and he was a lovely dog, and probably one of the first dogs I trained, Rip It Up. We had her till she was 15, till she passed away.
Wow.
Good
Yeah.
innings. Good innings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lived on the lounge in the end.
Beautiful.
That was her favourite spot. Yeah.
You breeding litters out of her? Was she a bitch?
Yeah, she bred a few litters. She had a collision litter. It was a real good one, but it broke a leg, but she could have been anything, and had a Swift Fancy litter that was very honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Celebrity crush. Before we go any further, there was a bit of conjecture last week with Corey White's one. Punters, I did speak to him last night. He just got it mixed up. Chad Reed's not his celebrity crush, so I didn't actually get the answer. But yeah, it wasn't Chad Reed. So what's yours, Timmy?
Well, when I was a bit younger, it would have been Pamela Anderson, but she's gone a bit plastic fantastic and a bit in the end. So I'll probably have to go Jessica Alba.
Yeah, good. Any embarrassing moments?
Embarrassing moments. Oh, I'll use one at work one day. You'll probably be able to put it on when I worked at the furniture place. The boys all went through a thing of dacking. They loved it. So I'm on the phone to the big boss organising deliveries. I'm on the loading dock, and there's customers all out in the getting their furniture and that, and I'm organising the trucks. And as I'm on the phone to him, they've pulled me pants down. They've got the jocks, got the shorts, everything's down. And I couldn't go off or anything on the phone because he's on the phone and he'll understand what happened. So I'm on the phone trying to pull me pants up, and then talk to him and that, and then that was my one there. Yeah.
That's a blackout, and obviously,
but I got the bloke back that did it to me.
Excellent. Long as you squared the ledger.
Yeah, squared the ledger. We're walking across the road, Albany Highway, lunch bar. I got him as he was going across the road, and he nearly got hit by a car. So that wasn't the best bit, but I got him back.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Biggest win you've had, Timmy?
Every time I get in a final, I can't seem to win it. But,
you will, mate. You keep making them.
You'll
You'll win one eventually. Keep going.
Yeah, get one eventually, but I've handled Oaks winner for Cosy D'Agostino, Lindy Danko in the Oaks.
Yep. Hobbies outside of racing. You a fisherman?
No. Used to be, gone off it a bit, watch a lot of football and that.
Yep.
Who's your team?
And the Eagles.
How are they going to go this weekend? This looks a very winnable assignment against a banged-up Carlton.
Yeah, we should, but then we'll probably get flogged by 100 points the way our form's going, but... You think they'd be competitive, but I'm not sure.
Hopefully they don't look at the markets. My team in the NRL, Parramatta, are much the same. They look at the markets, so they're $1.30. You think they're just going to turn up and win and get beat. So,
correct. That's what's happened to them. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Favourite track? Doesn't have to be in WA.
Favourite track? Well, I'd have to say with childhood memories, like when my granddad was retired, taking me to the dogs and that, I'd have to say the old Cannington.
Was a great venue, wasn't it?
Popular,
because even for the kids, Shortte will probably be able to remember because he did a lot of things there with the club and that. Like they used to have the train that'd come around and pick us all up and drive us around and that.
Yeah.
And just the atmosphere there. Like I remember when you're handling a dog on New Year's Eve, you'd have to go down 2 races before to get to the kennels.
Correct.
It was that packed. You'd have to get through people to get down there.
It was amazing. It really was. It was, and we were spoiled. And at the time, I think. I don't know whether or not you don't see the future at the time and you kind of take it a little for granted that it's just always going to be like that. But,
I agree. It was like with all the other things you had, like was it the Appeal-a-thon Cup and all that? You used to have the ads
Correct.
on TV. It used to be packed and everything like that. And
yep.
all them sort of races and it'd be packed every Saturday night. But now there's hardly anybody there. Yeah.
Our punters clubs on a Wednesday and Saturday, which when I first started we were running, there would be 600 to 700 people in the restaurant every Wednesday and Saturday with a smorgasbord buffet, and we'd often have pools of $4,500, $5,000 to bet within our punters clubs. It was unbelievable.
I know. Well, I remember my dad took me along one day. You couldn't be nice enough to help anybody. The things you've done for the industry, you've done a lot for us. Yeah. You'd talk to everybody. You would, I can't remember how old I was at the time, but you would go out of your way to make everybody feel welcome.
That's why he's the best. That's why he's the best. That's why he's the best.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
And we still love it though, Tim, don't we? That's the key. And a lot of it comes down to the love of the people and the animals. That's really what it comes down to.
It does, yeah.
All right, Timmy, the last one. Name 3 people in our industry that you would like to be stuck on a deserted island with.
All right, I'll start off with one. We'll go with Joe Campana. Well, if something breaks, he should be able to fix it. He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. And then I'll probably go with Eric because he's got the brain, so he'll think of something to do.
Yep.
And then the other one, I'll go Michael Reeves because he's always good for a chat.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Timmy, for coming on today. And it was great to get to know you. And like I said, this podcast is for everyone. We want to get the battlers and the lesser known trainers on here and get them out there and get them some nice dogs in the future if we could.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it for you and Shorty, and I hope it goes gangbusters for you the way it goes and that. It's been going good, and keep tipping them winners, and the listeners will keep following.
Good man, Timmy. Appreciate your time, mate. You have a ripper weekend. Continued success with your team, and thanks for joining us on the Jet Set.
Thanks, boys.
See you, mate.
So.
On the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set, here are the Darwin tips with Bones Harman.
All right, it's that time of the week to catch up with our man Bones Harman to have a look at all of the Darwin action on a Sunday. He was in good form again last week, tipping 2 of his 4 in for the punters. Welcome to you, Bonesy.
Good morning, lads. How are we?
Going beautifully, thank you. Appreciate your time as always here on the podcast. We've got a 9-race card up there at Wentworth Park on Sunday night. What are the confidence levels like?
Confidence level's not bad. We've got 3 plays and a multi as well, so hoping we can fill them up on Sunday night.
Like it. All right, take us through what you're liking.
We'll do. Alrighty. Oh, and shout out to TABtouch, by the way. There's been some super picks on offer on the Sunday nights, which has been nice and helpful as well. So that's made things nice and fun up there.
Indeed, and I think that's set to continue. Our man Dave Brown hit me up, and I said with the local program finishing up, we've got our man Bones Harman coming on the Jet Set, and plenty of people looking to replace Mandra and have a bet on a Sunday, get around it, and he's done that beautifully. So hopefully more to come this Sunday.
Absolutely, and let's see if we can kick it off in race 2, number 4, with Kelmar Soxy. Now, she hasn't won in 6 months. But she's been jumping and leading for fun over the 5.37, but she just doesn't have the tank to see that distance out. She got run down really late last week, and that was sort of an improvement. I'm thinking if she jumps again and she can just get enough of a break, now that she's back to 3.83, she might be able to hold some of the stronger ones off. So we'll stick with Kelmar and see if we can get her back in the winners circle.
Okay, so back off the 5.37, only beaten a length last time out there by Blue Steel. Back to the 3.83 could be the trick. So race 2, number 2, Kelmar Soxy, the second of your plays?
Second play, race 5, number 7. We'll go with Little Calf. Now, she's burst onto the scene. She looks like she'll end up in top grade at some point, but she's just working her way through the grades. She's still floating around in 5th and maiden grades. So it's a little bit of a query that she's in a full field for the first time. But realistically, if she keeps jumping the way she has been, she might just get herself out of harm's way and leave him trying to catch her up. So we'll go with Little Kath until she gives me a reason to jump off.
All righty, race 5, number 7, Little Kath, and the third of the plays?
And the third one is race 9, number 1, Sox Lala. And box 1's the key here. Sox does better work from the inside. Just needs to make sure that Not All There doesn't punch up and give it too much hassle, but Not All There is not strong in the sliders. So if Sox can punch up on the inside, Miley on fire out in the 8 is going pretty well, but Sox is a better class of dog at this point. So we'll go with Sox to take out the last.
All righty, so we've got race 2, number 2, Kelmar Soxy, race 5, number 7, Little Kath, race 9, number 1, Sox Lala. What about the multiplay?
Now, with the multi, there's 3 of the better dogs in Darwin that have all sort of found themselves in different races, and they normally come up against each other. And it's 3-1 Flip Your 50. We saw what Flip Your 50 can do in the Cup. Is the track record holder over 3-1-2 and will be Shortte. 6-5 River Rough, another one of the better dogs in a race with some pretty moderate opposition. And 7-6 Omar Manelli, the Cup winner. Now he's found himself way back to a 3.83 metre race, and he's the track record holder there. So all 3 of them are likely to come up short, but if we chuck them all together, we can make that another play as well.
Yeah, he won last week, didn't he, Bonesy, over the 300, Omar, after that Cup win?
Yes, he did. He snuck home at the in the very last bound to get the job there, but 3.83 is a much more suitable trip for Omar.
Indeed.
Now, from an owner's perspective, Bonesy, you got any dogs running around locally this weekend we can cheer on?
I've got up in Darwin Kenya Refine. And Kenya Refine is not going well at all, so we're going to steer clear of Kenya until she shows us something. But, looking to get another couple coming through the ranks hopefully relatively soon.
I've been following Kenya Refine since she lobbed up there. She actually arrived in Darwin with some pretty solid local form when she arrived, and I've been just expecting at some point just her to ping out, find the arm and run time, but it just hasn't quite happened. It's such a unique place, Darwin. Often you see dogs that land up that you'd think would just be put in takeout sort of jobs up there from the class level that they've raced at here, and yet other dogs that arrive up there with lesser form sometimes just love the place and jump out of the ground. One dog that does interest me just looking at that race now, Wolfman here draws box number 3. Wolfman was an excellent run 2 starts ago, and your dog beat it on that occasion that you tipped out Molotov Boy, who's another West Aussie dog that we know from its time here in WA. Wolfman, if it can reproduce that run from 2 back, it has to be right in the mix and pretty tough to beat in that race, I would have thought.
Yep, absolutely. That's a pretty talented race, actually, for that sort of grade. What grade? That's a 4th and 5th. That's a pretty talented one. The 6 Wildly Excited showing some really, really strong form. So if that gets anywhere near the front, it could be just Wildly Excited and Wolfman fighting that one out. That's a pretty decent race, and Kenya Refine would need to jump a couple of levels to be matching with them.
I think going back to Kenya Refine, I think you'll find sometimes the dogs don't handle the humidity up there, Shorty. I took the 2 dogs over there this year, and one of them run 29.44 at Northam, and I was really hoping he'd be a big chance. He just couldn't get hot in Darwin, so I think maybe that's got something to do with it, the humidity up there. Some of them struggle to handle it.
Could be up there too, absolutely. And Kenya does like an inside draw. Anytime she's outside about 6, 7 or 8, she doesn't really have it on her terms. But maybe the inside box will show us something today. This week, but I won't be holding my breath for it.
All right, we'll get around it. Hopefully, the next little bit she can come to terms with Darwin racing, and if she gets hot, we'll get right around it, Bonesy. We'll get right around footy as well this weekend. What's the latest for all the boys?
For a big weekend, last weekend of the year. If we win, we finish 2nd and get a home final and a double chance. And if we lose, we finish 5th and have an away elimination final. So finals basically start this week.
All righty. Well, good luck to everyone concerned there, and I hope you join us next week with good news that you finish 2nd on the table and ramping up for another flag.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate that. Good luck on the punt this weekend.
Thanks, Bones.
Thanks, Bonesy.
It's time to get the inside word from some of the most successful kennels in WA. Here's this week's Kennel Mail.
Big thanks to Bones Harman for his thoughts there at Darwin. 2-2 Kelmar Soxy, 5-7 Little Kath, 9-1 Sox Lala and his multi, 3-1 Flip Your 50, 6-5 River Rough and 7-6 Omar Manelli. Train, let's get into the Kennel Mail and also the leftovers. We'll start with the leftovers. You got anything for us?
Yeah, I got a few, Shorty, this week. I got tonight we're going to Geelong, race 7, number 5, Cruising Billy. This is a dog Corey tip last week, and just got the first stride wrong, Shorty. So hoping for a better beginning back to Geelong, trained by Brendan Purcell, who's a really good trainer. Race 7, number 5, Cruising Billy, and then a couple of horses tomorrow, Shorty. One of them's mine. So story to this is old Hornet. He's put it in one of a multi for our punters club. So that's the end of her. He's the biggest mock going around. Hello to Greg if you're listening. But race 6, number 2, Miss Sky High. She's run 2nd in the Oaks. First up here, Shorty. Her trial was really impressive, and Grant and Alana have been really happy with her since that trial. So, and the very next race, the stablemate race 7, number 2, Sentimental Bell, absolutely loves the mud. The more rain, the better for it, Shorty. So 6-2 and 7-2 tomorrow at Belmont, just a little all up.
Well, I have come up with a 3-legger for my horse racing multi for TABtouch this weekend, and those 2 are in it. There's only one more leg, which I'll mention to you now, which is Rose Hill. That is race 6, number 4, Tarpaulin. So that's the 3-legger for me. $14.73, worth having a little something. I've taken doubles, trebles, and then the all-up place. That's how I play these each week. So race 6, number 2, race 7, number 2, pair of 2s at Belmont, and Rose Hill, race 6, number 4, Tarpaulin. And we may need a Tarpaulin this weekend with all the rain that's expected, Train.
Well, your only problem is that middle leg with Greg Horn tipping it. It's also known as the bee sting. He puts the mock on him. He's the best ever. He would stop the sun coming up tomorrow. So,
Hornet.
Good luck, Greg.
I'll get around you, Hornet. You got this weekend. You've got this, great man. Okay, so that's the leftovers for this week. Time now for the very best, Train. What have you come up with?
Well, I did struggle this week, Shorty, and off the back of last week's 4 duck eggs from everyone, disappointing. Mum's not happy. I've gone Saturday night, Mandurah, race 8, number 2, our boy Doug, the very best, hoping for around about 2:20. So try and get back on the board and back on the horse and kick away in that leaders division.
It's a really, really challenging weekend. There's a lot of tough racing. There's a few that are sort of quite short. What I've decided to do is just pick 3 dogs that I think should be all running places and lobbing them together. And I think if sort of my early markets hold up here, probably get about $4.50 for this treble. So all just to run places. Tonight at Mandurah, race 1, number 3, Negroni, the place. Mandurah Saturday night, race 3, number 8, Ironworks. It has to run top 2, but I think out there it'll be minding its own business. I think it'll, at the very least, run second. And sometimes you get a bit of a jacked up price when there's just top 2 dividends available. So Ironworks to run a place. And our old mate there at Wentworth Park, Saturday night, race 10, number 8, Crowded House. This dog runs places for fun. Should be a nice way to roll through. So Mandurah Friday, 1-3 Negroni, the place. Mandurah Saturday, 3-8 Ironworks, the place. And Wentworth Park Saturday, 10-8 Crowded House, the place. My very best for the 100 for this week. Any shout-outs to round out the program? We have got the kennel mail train. Lukey Townsend for this week has been good enough. Was very good to us last week as well, Lukey there. Let's hope for something similar. Nothing for Friday, but I do like 2 on Saturday. Race 2, Weston Kaiser, each way, starting to put in some good runs of late and is a good each way price. And race 5, number 1, Wise Barra. She looks the likely leader and hopefully can get a break on them. So that's race 2, number 4, race 5, number 1, Saturday night at Mandurah. Unfortunately, nothing for Graham Credelli this week, but brother Damo has come up with race 3, number 7, Shaw Oliver. A repeat performance to last week will see him go close, an each way chance. Race 8, number 7, Go Seek Ariana. If can cross or settle to the fence early, she'll be right in the finish. Saturday, Mandurah, race 2, number 1, Go Seek Francine. Looks to be suited and is racing well without winning. This looks to be a chance to break through. And race 12, number 8, My Time, getting some fitness back in this guy, and if left alone, will run a big race. So Mandurah Friday, 3-7 and 8-7, and then Mandurah Saturday, 2-1 and 12-8. Train, anything from your camp worth throwing down this weekend?
Well, I just thought it was pretty popular tonight. Simple Sally, race 4, number 5. She does need to lead, though. She will cross to the fence, and you would want to see her out in front. She's not overly strong at the back end, and also agree with you, race 12, number 4, Enjoyable. I've just had a little multi tonight. Probably a bit of spring in the step from last night, Shorty, but yeah, hoping we can get the double tonight. Them two, race 4, number 5, race 12, number 4.
Beautifully done, Train. Any shout-outs?
A couple of shout-outs, Shorty. I just wanted to congratulate Grant Lalana and the whole team. They've won the premiership this year, and obviously got a lot of horses there, and they do a magnificent job, the whole team there. So they're going to get rewarded tomorrow night at the awards night, and I know it's something Grant Lalana have been really happy to achieve that award just after they've split with and all that, and they've had to rebuild their stable. So really happy for them, and kudos to them. And also, we just mentioned it before, the Campana Trial Track at Shorty, I've taken Iconic Jet there in between runs, and if we don't have a facility like that, we'd be in a lot of trouble. So to Joe and Eric, who supply the trial track and let everyone use it, just a big shout out to them. Big thanks.
Well done. Yeah, they do a great service for the industry. Good luck to everyone with your runners over the course of this weekend. Rounding it out with a funny. A man of questionable intelligence went to reach for the largest cucumber in the supermarket when a woman also went to grab it. Oh yeah, I bet I know why you want the biggest one, he winked. You've got me, the lady giggled. Do you fancy coming back to mine and watching? No thanks, he replied. I've got better things to do with my time than stand there watching a woman make sandwiches. Hopefully that's got you laughing this upcoming weekend, and good luck with your cucumber sandwiches if you're stepping into that realm this upcoming weekend. Thanks as always for your company. We look forward to it again next Friday here on the Greyhound Jet Set podcast.
Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Be sure to share and retweet the show to help grow our community. Into 'em, punters.